long before he became one of history's greatest military leaders, before he liberated Jerusalem. Before kings feared his name, Saladin was simply a young boy. He was born in 1137 in the city of Tikrit, located in present-day Iraq. His full name was Yusuf ibn Ayyub. His family belonged to a respected Kurdish clan known for its loyalty, honor, and military service. On the very night Saladin was born, his father, Najm-ad-Din Ayyub, was forced to leave Tikrit with his entire family after a political conflict. No one could have imagined that the newborn child leaving the city that night would one day change the course of history. The family eventually settled in Damascus, one of the greatest cities of the Islamic world. Like many future conquerors, Saladin did not grow up dreaming of war. He spent his youth studying the Quran, Islamic law, mathematics, literature, and history. Those who knew him described him as calm, intelligent, humble, and deeply religious. At first, nothing suggested he would become a legendary warrior, but history often chooses the most unexpected people. As Saladin grew older, he joined the army under the command of his uncle, Shirkuh, one of the greatest generals serving the powerful ruler Nur ad-Din Zengi. This decision would change his life forever. Soon, a dangerous mission to Egypt would place the young Saladin on the path toward greatness, and eventually toward Jerusalem. The year was 1164. The kingdom of Jerusalem was growing stronger, and Egypt had become the next prize. Its rulers were weak. Its army was divided, and both Crusaders and Muslim leaders knew whoever controlled Egypt could change the future of the Middle East. Nur ad-Din Zengi could not allow Egypt to fall into enemy hands. So he sent his greatest general, Shirkuh. Marching beside him was a young officer, who was 26 years old. His name was Saladin. At first, Saladin had no desire to become a famous warrior. He preferred books over battles, knowledge over politics. But history had chosen a different path for him. The journey to Egypt was long and dangerous. The army crossed endless deserts, faced hunger, exhaustion, and the constant threat of Crusader attacks. When they finally reached Egypt, a brutal struggle for power had already begun. Cities changed hands. Alliances were broken overnight. Every victory was followed by another battle. Saladin fought bravely beside his uncle, earning the respect of experienced soldiers for his calm mind and courage under pressure. Then, everything changed. In 1169, Shirkuh suddenly died. Many believed another commander would replace him. Instead, the rulers of Egypt made an unexpected decision. They chose the quiet young officer, Saladin, as the new vizier of Egypt. No one realized it then, but this moment would mark the beginning of one of history's greatest leaders. Becoming the vizier of Egypt was only the beginning. Many powerful men believed Saladin was too young, too inexperienced, and too weak to hold power. They expected him to fail within weeks, but they were wrong. Instead of seeking revenge or personal glory, Saladin focused on rebuilding Egypt. He strengthened the army, improved the economy, and earned the trust of both soldiers and ordinary people. Yet another challenge remained. Egypt was still ruled in name by the Fatimid Caliphate, a dynasty that had governed for more than 2 centuries. Saladin knew that as long as the country remained divided, it could never stand against the Crusaders. In 1171, he made the boldest decision of his life. He peacefully ended the Fatimid Caliphate and restored Egypt to the Abbasid Caliphate. For the first time in generations, Egypt and Syria were moving toward unity. Not everyone welcomed the change. Several conspiracies were formed to assassinate him. Secret plots spread through the palace. Enemies waited for the perfect moment to strike. But Saladin uncovered every plan, one after another. His calm leadership, sharp intelligence, and unwavering faith made him stronger with every challenge. Soon, his influence reached far beyond Egypt. A new leader was rising, one who would soon unite the Muslim world and prepare for the greatest battle of his life. By the year 1174, Saladin was no longer just the ruler of Egypt. His ambition had grown much larger. He dreamed of uniting the Muslim world, not for power, but to prepare for one goal: the liberation of Jerusalem. After the death of Nur ad-Din Zengi, many cities fell into political chaos. Some rulers fought each other instead of fighting the Crusaders. Saladin saw that division was the greatest enemy. One by one, he united Damascus, then Homs, then Hama, and finally Aleppo, through diplomacy, military victories, and patience. Most of Syria accepted his leadership. For the first time in decades, Egypt and Syria stood together under one banner. His army became stronger than ever. Thousands of skilled soldiers, elite cavalry, archers, and experienced commanders gathered under his command. Across the Holy Land, the Crusaders watched with growing concern. They knew a great war was coming, and Saladin knew the road to Jerusalem had finally begun. In 1187, the moment Saladin had prepared for finally arrived. Near the horns of Hattin, his army faced the Crusaders in one of history's greatest battles. The scorching summer heat, the lack of water, and Saladin's brilliant strategy left the Crusader army exhausted. By the end of the battle, their forces had completely collapsed. It was a decisive victory. The road to Jerusalem was finally open. Months later, Saladin's army surrounded the holy city. Like many conquerors before him, he chose mercy over revenge. The people of Jerusalem were allowed to live safely instead of facing a massacre. His compassion shocked even his enemies. News of his justice spread across Europe and earned him respect from both Muslims and Christians. Today, more than 800 years later, Saladin is still remembered not only as a great commander, but as one of history's greatest examples of honor, mercy, and leadership. The end.